Hey guys, it's Captain OCD back for episode 10 of Let's Play Diablo 2 Hardcore. Last video, right before the end, I scored level 26, go ahead and put points in, still just jumping into battle orders and saving the points for Whirlwind. Here we are in the Durance of Hate, the last area of Act 3. Soon we'll be finally done with this act. You should get familiar with this place because Mephisto, the act boss here, is probably the first boss that's great to do runs on. He's super easy to get to, he's not too much of a challenge, and he drops great loot. He's got a pretty nice table, including either all of Segan's or most of Segan's, which is a pretty nice set for a barbarian, especially a pure one. And it's probably the ultimate twink set. These little undead pygmy guys are the Stygian dolls I was mentioning back in the Flare dungeon. Luckily they didn't spawn while I was in there, but they do spawn in the Durance of Hate, and they are worth looking out for. I know a lot of times I make a big deal out of things like Fire Enchanted Monsters, or Cold Enchanted Monsters, or even these guys, when it doesn't seem like they're posing that much of a threat to me. I could probably be in melee range with these guys and have them blow up on me and be fine. What that is really just a paranoia that you develop as a hardcore player, and it's a good paranoia to have, because 99% of the time when you do die in hardcore, it's because of something you didn't see coming, and it's just worth it to look out for things like that, even if you're almost sure they're not a threat. So here's the Durance of Hate level 3. Make sure you grab the waypoint for 2, because it's a very important waypoint. Like I said, Mephisto's probably the first boss you want to do runs on. Down here is 3 super unique council members, one of which spawns with a random offensive aura. The other 2 always have the same mods. I'm pretty sure this guy's extra fast, extra strong, and the other one's teleportation, mana burn. The only thing you really have to look out for is the one with a random aura spawning with Conviction, because he is lightning enchanted, so that combination can be pretty lethal. Alright, just ahead of us is Mephisto, the act boss. Go ahead and buff up. If your hireling's dead, go ahead and get him rehired, and make sure your potions are topped off. He's not too bad. His spells are very damaging. If your cold resist isn't looking too good, you could pick up a thawing potion, which, similar to the poison potion, will give you cold resistance. And make sure your lightning resistance is looking good too. He has this frost orb-like attack as well as a lightning bolt, and he does have charged bolt, which, if multiple bolts tag you, they can mean instant death, especially if your HP isn't all that great. He has these vampires located in the back of the room. Try not to let them interfere with the fight. If they do, no big deal. Right here I just go back to town to get more potions and make sure my hireling doesn't die. Come back in and finish him off. He's not too bad, not at all. Just make sure your hireling stays alive. Alright, and for drops we get a set plated belt, which I'm sure everyone recognizes as Segan's belt. Really nice find. 20 fire resists, 20 life. The extra fire resist will make up for the ring I lost in the last episode because of that rollback. The best thing about it though is I'll get an extra row of potions because plated belts have 4 rows, which is nice. Now that Mephisto's dead, we can move on to Act 4, Hell. But before you go, I actually suggest you do a couple Mephisto runs first, especially if you're not confident with your gear. Around this time is when the steel runeword starts to show its age, and you really need to look for a new weapon. I find this rare warhammer, which isn't too great, but it'll get the job done, I guess, as well as this helmet. I also find this berserker's hauberk with 1 to barbarian skill levels. Not too fantastic, and it's about to be replaced very soon, because I did a bit of gambling and found a rare plate mail with some pretty decent stats on it. I did all this off screen because it wasn't too noteworthy. If I find anything like a unique or another set of Segan's, I'll definitely have footage of it. But for stuff like this, I just didn't think it was too necessary to show. I also managed to get level 27 after all those Mephisto runs. The layout of Act 4's town is probably my favorite, and I think everyone would agree. Everything's very small, it's right next to each other, you got your stash there, Kane's right there, Tyrael will res your hirelings, and the smith and the potion vendor are right next to each other. You can get potions from this girl right down here, and This guy up here will do your repairs. Now just head down these stairs to get to the first area of Act 4, the Outer Steps. The monsters in Act 4 take a huge jump in difficulty. These guys right here, the Venom Lords, can breathe fire, just like the Flare Shamans in Act 3. If you don't have capped fire resistance, stay away from these guys. They can burn you down real quick, especially a pack of them. And also the return of everyone's favorite enemy, the Leaper. Just like most acts, the trick to navigating this place is to find the nearest wall and follow it. The stairs down to the next area are very hard to miss, so this is definitely the best way of getting around. Here you can see packs of Venom Lords jump on you all at once and breathing fire. Like I said before, you want capped fire resistance, or you want to be running away from these guys. Those orange guys right there, the Corpulents, will eat corpses and spit them at you. But the damage the corpse spit does is pretty pitiful, and it can be blocked with a shield, so I really wouldn't worry about it. They seem more concerned with eating corpses than actually killing you anyway. These Doom Knights here aren't really anything to worry about. Perhaps the only notable thing about them is that they're undead, so they'll be taking extra damage from our mace attacks. Their caster counterparts, however, later in the act, are definitely worth looking out for. We'll be getting into those when we arrive there. After the Outer Steps, you'll run into the Plains of Despair, which is where Iswal is, and I get extremely lucky and run into him right there. There's really not too much to note about this guy other than his insane HP. There's really no strategy to fighting him other than maybe keeping your mercenary alive just to make things go faster. He's pretty much a chump. Not only did I luck out in running into him as soon as I got here, but there's an experience shrine right next to him, which I'm going to go ahead and pick up as soon as he gets low on health, just to maximize the amount of experience I get for killing him. Normally you'd head back to town to get the reward for this. It's probably the best quest reward in the game, which is 2 skill points. But because I have this experience shrine up, I want to make the most of it and do a bit of killing before I head back to Tyrael. That lanky looking monster there in the back is called a Vile Mother, and you want to take them out pretty quick. There's another one right there. Because, as you can see, they'll spawn little flesh beasts, and the longer they're alive, the more flesh beasts they will spawn. And they can lead to pretty long, annoying battles. I managed to find the City of the Damned, the area after the Plains of Despair, very quickly. And I'm not too far off from finding the way down to the River of Flame. I think we're like 3 minutes into this act, completely unedited, and I'm already in the River of Flame. So I got pretty fortunate on this run. Right below the River of Flame entrance is the City of the Damned waypoint. It'll always spawn right there, so it's worth tagging, even if you don't plan on coming back here ever again. Alright, a little while back we scored level 28. And put those stat points in and head back to town to get a reward for killing Iswal. 2 free skill points, which I really don't plan on putting anywhere just yet. Still saving up for Whirlwind and dumping into battle orders. I actually don't have the mana leech right now to support Whirlwind, even if I did have it, so I might just dump into Mace Mastery. I'm not really sure. I definitely want to get Whirlwind up to level 6 in order to keep it from doing negative damage. Other than that, though, I'm sort of torn between Mace Mastery and Whirlwind. Maybe I'll find something nice in the future that'll make Whirlwind a clear decision. The next quest we're taking care of in Act 4 is to destroy Mephisto's Soulstone. If you lost it or you didn't pick it up the first time it dropped, go talk to Deckard Cain and he'll give it to you. The reward for doing this quest is great, but if one person in a game does it and there are other players present, it'll count as those players having done it as well. So you'll actually want to do it alone in separate games in order to maximize the reward you get from it, which is a number of flawless or perfect gems as well as a chance for a nice rune. These Urdars, which are cousins to the Blenderboars that you faced in Act 2, are exactly the same as they were before. They have a stun attack, so don't let them surround you, otherwise they might chain stun you to death. So here we are approaching the Hellforge. In here is a super unique monster similar to the Smith. I believe he's called Hephasto the Armor. I might be pronouncing that wrong. But he's got Conviction Aura, and just like the Smith, does a pretty decent amount of damage per swing. So lightly armored or low health classes are going to want to watch out for him. He's really not that big of a deal though. He drops the Hellforge Hammer, which you'll need to smash Mephisto's Soulstone. Go ahead and equip it, touch the Hellforge to place a stone, and swing at it a couple times in order to destroy the stone. The highest rune you can get as a reward here is an Om rune. I get an Ith rune, which is nowhere near that, but I do get a Perfect Sapphire, which will be useful when I start crafting. That'll do it for episode 10 of Let's Play Diablo 2 Hardcore. Next time we'll be taking on Diablo himself. See you then.